Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here from Miss Carrie's Creations. This month I've been working my way through some kits and creating some fun projects to share with you. This project includes some beautiful beach photos on a vertical layout, which is a simple one to make. I'm going to be using the Beach House Kit from Not Just for Boys Kit Club to record a memory of our children's first trip to the beach. These photos were taken almost 20 years ago, and I wasn't able to zoom in on the photos, so I decided to trim them down so that my focus was on the people in the photos and the ocean in the background. This beach house collection has some beautiful images on a cut-apart page and pattern papers that are going to match these photos well. It also has some sweet little letter stickers and flat back pearls. Another item I have grabbed from the shop is this package of coastal die cuts. The color in these match perfectly with the kit, so if you plan on grabbing this beach house kit, you might want to grab these too. I will also be using a few other elements on this page, and I'll make sure that all of the supplies are listed in the description below. This design is rather simple with some vertical strips of pattern paper on the left and the photos stacked randomly along the side with some pattern paper behind them. I have cut the photos down to 2 inches by 3 3/4, and I am trying to decide on some pattern papers to place behind them. These leftover pieces are from some other Not Just for Boys Kit Club kits, so you might recognize a few of these from items in your collection. I'm going to print my journaling off to the right of the photos, so I want to make sure I have all of the spacing right before I do that. Now that I know where everything's going to go, I'm going to print my journaling on this piece of cardstock, and then I'll come back and add the rest of the elements. Off camera, I assembled the background pieces and added some stitching. You are probably wondering how I was able to print everything on a 12 by 12 page. I do own a standard printer, but I often cheat a little bit when it comes to printing on my backgrounds. If you take a look at this on the back, I did cut down that 12 by 12 paper to 8.5 inches wide. When I typed up my story, I changed the settings to a legal size paper so that I could place everything on the page correctly, and then I ran it through the printer. Once the journaling was in place, I just assembled the page and used that little 1/2 inch strip to hide where I cut the piece of cardstock into 2 pieces. I'm going to lay out all of those photos and pieces of ephemera that I have for the page. I am going to cut out some sandcastles and a little sailboat from this cut apart page, and I'm going to add in a few seashells and other items from the die cut pack. Now at this point I realized that not all of my journaling had printed, and I don't know how I missed it, but it did require me to stop the video, reprint, and reassemble the page. Thank goodness I hadn't glued down anything yet. Alright, so I have put everything back in place, and I'm going to mark where all of these elements are going to go. I want to bring in some natural tones to match the sand, and I'm going to do that with some circular stamps. This image is going to stick out behind some of the other elements and help to frame the corners of each of the photos. I have selected a gray-brown color for the circles, which match the sand in the photos. The ink is a distress ink, so this will give me some broken spots in my stamping, which is the look I'm going for. Now I'm planning on putting the words of my title in the areas where the stamps are being placed. So I'm trying to lay out the items as I stamp each circle to help me visualize where everything is going to go. As I decide on the areas where each of these circles go, I'm trying to vary the location so that some are near the top of the photo and others are near the base and some are in the center. These are helping to lead your eyes down the page, and they're going to help you to read the title. Once I have all of those circles stamped, I'm going to add a little bit of splatter. I started with a stamp that looks like larger splatters, and I stamped those over the circles. After I added the stamped images, I came in with a little bit of ink to add some smaller splatters. I just pressed my ink pad onto my glass board, added a little water, and then with a small paintbrush, I added some specks of color. Using a smaller paintbrush gives you a little bit more control when you're trying to add splatter on your page. All right, now it's time to adhere all of these elements in place. While I do this, I would love it if you tapped that subscribe button. It's always a joy to read when I have another new subscriber on my channel. Let me know in the comments that you are new here and tell me how you found my channel. So you can see that I did rough up the edges of those photo mats before I placed them down. I did use a ruler to help me get the measurements right at the top and the bottom. And then I used a centering ruler to make sure all of these were spaced evenly. If you were wondering, these photo mats are about 2.5 inches by 4 inches with some random bits of stitching around the edges. I decided to use blue-green for the mats so that it would match the color in the ocean and that pattern paper that I chose. That yellow pattern has some blue-green stripes in it, which are kind of hard to see here on camera. As the layers are being created, I am trying to balance out my colors and shapes in each of the clusters. If I used a neutral toned seashell, I used elements with some color in them around that seashell. If I used a salmon colored seashell, I tried to use natural colored elements. Now, I forgot to mention that the Beach House Kit also includes instructions to create 4 pages. So you can either use the items in the kit to make your own designs, like I did, or follow Merity's instructions that come with the kit and create 4 layouts for your beach or vacation photos. Now that all of my items are in place, I'm going to add my title. This is going to say Our Day on the Beach, and I needed to decide which set of letters to use. The kit came with some small gray colored letters, but I was worried that they were too small for the space. I love that light blue color of the other letters, but they're not going to show up on the pattern paper where I'm placing them. So I'm going to bring in more of a neutral wood grain tone with these puffy thickers. I always have to turn my pages upside down when I add lettering. I don't know why I have to do this, but it is the only way that I can get them evenly spaced and straight on my page. I know that it is difficult for some of you to watch because you want to flip your screen. So I'm going to try to turn this upright as much as I can and speed this portion of the video up. I am using 5 separate words for my title because I have found that odd numbers work best when you're trying to fill a large space like this. Those photo mats are popped up on some adhesive foam, so I added a little bit of foam tape to the back of a few of the letter stickers to make them even with the letters that were on the mats. To finish this page off, I added some little hearts onto some of the clusters and next to the words at the top of the page. I also added a little paddle at the base of the page to frame in that journaling. I debated if I really wanted that piece at the base of the page, but after talking to my husband, he said he liked how it framed that story, so I went ahead and left it there. All right, I'm going to clean off my desk and share the finished layout with you. Off camera, I added some yellow pearls from the kit and a little bit of twine to the tag. These bring in some more texture and help lead your eye down the page. I'm going to share a few close-ups of this layout so that you can see it in a little more detail. For those of you who vacation or spend time on the beach this time of year, that Beach House Kit is a great one to add to your collection. On this page, I used quite a few elements from the kit and added a few pieces that I had in my own collection to create an awesome page of our kids visiting the beach for the first time. If you are one who enjoys pinning photos to inspiration boards, I have added images of this layout on the Not Just for Boys Kit Club blog and on my website for you to use. If you would like more ideas for using this kit, you can join the Not Just for Boys Kit Club community on Facebook and see some more designs. I want to thank you for joining me for another scrapbook project. If you have any questions about this design or the supplies listed below, feel free to post that in the comments. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.